Jackson here at Song Mentor. Today's relaxed selection is I'll Be by Edwin McCain. It was released in 1998 off his CD Misguided Roses and reached number 7 on the charts. It was more of a prayer, says Edwin, and I kind of liken it a little bit to the line in Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. In Edwin's mind, if he wrote down his thoughts about a relationship that had gone bad, it might just repair itself. Here's 1998's beautiful I'll Be. All right, the first thing we want to talk about with I'll Be is the key. And I've dropped the key down a full step from the key of B to the key of A here. I think you're going to find that is a more user-friendly key for both singing and playing this song. The second thing I want to mention is it's in 3/4 time, which is the standard waltz time. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's that beautiful sus chord. So that's my little segue into the chords. I want to show you the chords you need for I'll Be. And first of all, you need an open A chord. Now, as a variation on the A chord, you need an A sus2. And an A sus2 is played by dropping the B string note out of the A chord. So the way I play it is second finger is on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and third finger is on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and the B string, which is normally in that open A chord, is left open. An A sus2. And then we have this G sus chord. It's difficult to find this one in chord books, but essentially the way we're going to play this is our 3rd finger is going to play the G chord, a G note on the 6th string, and it's also going to mute the 5th string. So we play that note, and it mutes the 5th string. Then the pinky finger is going to cover both the 2nd and 1st strings at the 3rd fret. And for the sake of purposes of this song, we'll call that a G sus chord. Okay, you also need an open E chord, just a standard open E chord, and you need an E sus4. And the way to make the E sus4 is just take your pinky finger, I'm using the 2, 3, 4 fingers to play the E chord, and just flatten it out to include the A note on the G string, right there. So the pinky flattens down, and we play E, E sus4. We also need an open D chord, and then finally a D sus2, beautiful chord, and that's just left, again, that's just a D chord with the 1st string note left out, this F sharp note right here. So it's the E, open E string is played, and then the other 2 notes in a D chord, a D sus2. So once again, to review, open A sus2, G sus, open E, E sus4, open D, and D sus2. And those are the chords you need for I'll Be. Okay, let's start with the intro, and for the intro of this song we're going to play that A sus2 chord, and then we're going to switch to the G sus. And it plays through twice, so we're going to go and then again through it. After twice through on the intro, we hit the open A major chord, and that starts, strands in your eyes. That's what begins the first verse of the song. So let's just take a look at what the right hand is doing here as far as this little pick through on the intro. doing is strumming the chord, then a quick strum, and then on the way back I'm picking up on the first string and down on the second. Just adds a nice little touch to that intro. All right, let's break down the playing in a verse, and we'll do this in two sections. So we'll call this verse part 1, and it consists of an A chord, E chord. I'm going to use the D sus2 chord here in the verses rather than just a D chord, and I'll explain why in just a moment here. So essentially it's going to go something like this, and don't focus too much on my singing right now because we're just getting through this. The strands in your eyes, the color, the wonderful, stopping to steal my breath. Emeralds from mountains, flushed toward the sky, never revealing the dead. And tell me. So just to take us to that point there. So we're playing, and the reason I'm suggesting the D sus2 chord here is every one of these three chords in this little progression, which is the A, the D sus2, and the E, all have one thing in common, and they have a ringing note through them if we use the D sus2, and that's the open E string, the high E string. The A has that, the D sus2 has that, and the E has that. And that really is a neat thing to do in chording and in a song, is have that one note constant. I hope you can hear that ringing high E note in there. And just to take a look at the strumming again, the right hand here. Again, when I strum, I'm sort of still playing with those first two strings a little bit. Okay, let's figure out verse part 2. All right, part 2 of the verse basically cycles through major chords, A, E, D, and it kind of goes played that way. A, E, D, E, A, E, D, E, A, E, D, E, and then it sustains the A a little longer. A, E, D, D, E sus4, E, and then into I'll be your crying shoulder. We get into the chorus. So let's just, we'll just play through, and again, forgive the singing a little bit here. It's not going to be totally accurate. Never going to be totally accurate, but it's going to be close enough to get us through a playthrough of verse part 2. Tell me that we belong together. Dress it up with a trappings of love. I'll be captivated. I hang on your lips, set on the gallows of heartache that hang from above. And I'll be your crying shoulder. Okay, that's the cycle. And just to take a look, the strumming is a little more free here. Right hand during this part of the verse. Tell me that we belong together. Dress it up with the trappings of love. free. We're not concerned so much this time with picking through those. We're now into the second half of the verse, and it's picked up in intensity, so our strumming is a little more free. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Remember, we've got that 3/4 time. Okay, let's move on to the chorus. All right, so here's the chorus. This is the last bit, and we're ready to go here. Here's the chorus with the turnaround I'll show you at the end that gets us back into the next verse. So the chorus is, again, we'll put the chords on the screen, but it's based around A, D, and E. And I'll be. Now the difference here is that we don't switch quickly. We're not cycling quickly through chords. They all sustain double time here. I'll be your crying shoulder. I'll be love suicide. I'll be better when I'm older. I'll be the greatest fan of your life. There's the turnaround at the end. So I'll be better when I'm older. I'll be the greatest fan of your life. And here's the turnaround. Goes to D, and then back to A, and then E, D. Rain falling. Okay, so we're back into verse 2. So there's the chorus. Hey, we're ready for a playthrough. All right, let's present that little bridge section to you. This is the section that connects the second chorus of the song with the final and ending chorus of the song. And there is a chord in here that I didn't give you earlier. I'm sorry for that. It's an F sharp minor bar chord. And this cycles generally through F sharp minor, E, D sus4, which you've already played, and then F sharp minor again, E, a regular D, and then the G sus, and it finishes up with the open E chord. So I'll just sing through this quickly with chords on the screen so you can add this to what we're going to do in the playthrough. Here we go. And I've dropped down, burned up, fought my way back from the dead. Tuned in, turned on, remembering things that you said. And I'll be. I just wanted to show you the little picking thing that I'm doing there during the D sus4 chord, and that's just something I think sounds good in an acoustic version. So it's okay, all I'm doing there is just emphasizing, because it's such a cool sounding chord, I'm just picking up on string 1 and down on string 2 during that chord only. Okay, let's move on. Okay, just before we head into the playthrough, just to mention the ending here. The version that I listened to had a very, very elongated and kind of sexy sax solo that went on and on and on. If you're playing this as a campfire song or a song for your favorite other person in your life, you probably don't have a sax player beside you. So you may want to just go back to that intro. And that's an easy way to come out of this song after the final verse is just play through that twice and then finish it off that way. Okay, let's start our playthrough. Okay, let's do a playthrough, a little bit of a modified playthrough here. Normally the bridge comes after the second chorus, but what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do the intro, verse, chorus, and then the bridge section, and then back in, as if we're ending the song, back into another chorus, which we won't complete, but we'll start. Okay, here we go.
emeralds from mountains thrust towards the sky, never revealing their depth. Tell me we belong together, dress it up with a drop in love. I'll be captivated, I'll hang from your lips instead of the gallows heartache that hang from above. And I'll be your crying shoulder, I'll be love suicide. I'll be better when I'm older, I'll be the greatest fan of your life. And I've dropped out, burned up, fought my way back from the dead, tuned in, turned on, remembering things that you said. And I'll be.
All right, fine tuning for I'll Be. Well, we covered a few things in this lesson. One of the things we covered was sometimes a sane move is to drop a key down a little bit to facilitate easier playing and easier singing. So we dropped it from B to A. We also covered 3/4 time, the waltz time, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A few little picking things, which are just my way of trying to enhance the acoustic version of this song as you might choose to play it. And finally, dynamics. This section, particularly the end of that bridge section, when it builds there with the... that is in the song is fully orchestrated and builds like crazy. You can do the same thing just by enhancing your the intensity of your chords a little bit there. All right, Edwin McCain, beautiful love song, I'll Be. And I'll be seeing you next time on Song Mentor.